rail freight. With if you have a stable flow, it's perfect. 4,000 trucks off the road. It's in kilometers. It's more than 4 million kilometers. Team calculated as 3,000 ton of CO2. Train has 44 containers and there's one driver. So you just pay much more money to drive for the truck through Germany, and all of this just motivates you to go into intermodal. And if you count just over 100 euro per truck driving through Germany times 44, then just on one route you already save a lot of money. Created a lot of tranquility and stability in our flow from day one. It's really a good proof that this concept can work. So that's why we do see this response even today.
So, dear all, okay, I can welcome you all with another episode of my Logical Sustainability podcast. I have here with me Michael Foubert from a company, Drylock Technologies, today. Welcome, Michael.
Hey, good afternoon, Martin.
Good having you here with me in my new podcast. One of the main topic today is going to be a sustainable transport solution that Drylock has implemented. I think 2 years ago between Czechia, Belgium, and UK. It's a combination, so it's a multimodal actually solution. And Michael is a group supply chain lead, inventory, warehousing, and distribution in Drylock Group. And could you please, Michael, just to a little bit make clear your position in your company?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So my job is focused on transportation, warehousing, and general improvement of our logistic processes, and that's on group level. So I take care both of the European factories in Czech Republic, Spain, and Italy, but also abroad in US and Brazil. I'm involved.
Okay. How big is the Czech factory in Hradec nad Nisou from those factories you just mentioned?
It's definitely the biggest one. We have about 120,000 square meters. It's the biggest baby diaper factory in the world. We have quite a nice scope there with about 40 production lines, 1,400 colleagues, and a dedicated crew of logistics people who do a really excellent job.
Wow, excellent. I mean, this is something I was there. I'm asking you because of the audience who listen to us and watching us. So this is something really amazing. I was there visiting your colleagues some while ago as well. So I know the factory. Just to make one more. Let's say pitch about your products you produced in Hradec nad Nisou and in general
Mhm.
in Drylock, of course.
Yeah. Well, we produce as Drylock baby products, baby diaper, baby pants. Also, the Inco market is part of our portfolio, and we also have a fem care range, feminine hygiene. So we have these three product groups that we supply to retailers, to healthcare centers in the whole of Europe.
Perfect. What actually brought you to this implementation of this sustainable project?
Yeah, we had actually back then, 22 was when we started looking into this. There were two things that led to it. First of all, we won a major contract with a UK retailer, which really changed the business. And at the same time, we also had that year a lot of fluctuation and disturbance in the market with lack of drivers. The impact of what happened in Ukraine was huge on everything in logistics. So we were at a moment where we were really growing our volumes, but we're also suffering quite a bit in just getting capacity in trucks and transportation. So we were just thinking, what can we do to make this a bit better, to make a stable flow. We were also seeing really that we were growing just in general, apart from this contract, growing in UK quite significantly. So we were thinking, okay, we need something which works efficiently, which we can scale up at a later point, and that that kind of can handle all these volumes that we have. And we started looking into the usual options. Okay, more trucks, more companies, but just realized that this flow was not. It was just not the best way. At some point, our partner ECS, who works as a 3PL for us in Belgium in Zeebrugge, came up with a suggestion to look at rail transportation, and
Just a
we
short,
took quite.
sorry, Mikhail.
Mhm.
Just a short explanation. It was the export was going mainly on the road, right? At that moment, when the
Yes,
idea came up for actually creating a train solution as a shipper, because from my point of view, there are no many shippers on the markets that goes this way, just to evaluate, okay, we will go multimodal solution because we have the power, we have the trucks on the road, and we are lacking capacity. We are looking for, of course, decarbonization in around our company in the process and so on. So you was for me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was really a very excellent surprise that the shipper came with their own solution, of course, with the partners like you said, ECS. So just to explain a little bit to the audience that it was at that time
we
truck
were
solution. Yeah.
a bit hesitant ourselves. Rail freight doesn't always have the best reputation, so we were thinking quite a long time on basically spending a lot of time on backup solutions. What if something happens to the rail? What if whatever happens? So we didn't have experience ourselves, so it was quite a big jump from nothing to a whole dedicated train. But in the end, we decided to take the risk just because from each angle we looked at it, it just made sense. We had volumes, we had both volume towards Belgium, we also had everything coming back, and at the way back we also had certain issues to get that all combined. So yeah, after a long and thorough analysis, we still said, you know what, let's just take the risk. What's the worst thing that can happen? And we there's always a backup solution if needed. We still use it sometimes today, just a regular truck, but it's a flow which is really good. Just it really fits. I think rail freight with if you have a stable flow, it's perfect. Maybe if it goes very up and down, it's a bit more challenging, but our business is stable. If you have a baby, it will consume the same amount of diapers each day. So if you convert it to pallets, to trucks, to trains, it works. It's a good match.
Now it makes a good sense, but let's go at the beginning a little bit. Why this route actually from Czech Republic to a Belgian Zeebrugge a warehouse, and then retail export to UK? Why this route you choose
Mhm.
actually?
Yeah, we had earlier already chosen Zeebrugge as our entry point into the UK. We just found that from Czech Republic it was the best entry point, and we also have this consolidation center there managed by ECS. So we had already a volume going there. We also have a lot of imports from European market which enter through Antwerp to the port of Antwerp. So yeah, we already had a base flow that we could work off.
Okay.
So that helped us. Of course, we're also a Belgian company, uh, Czech Republic as our major factory, but we're also very well familiar with what's happening here in Belgium. So it just kind of felt like the best point for us.
Yeah. Can you a little bit walk us through from the, let's say, through the journey, like the setup of the project, rail, port, sea, last mile, first mile. There are many aspects in the project I see that you had to go one by one to set up. Just to walk us through a little bit through this project
Mhm.
journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we started first just with the idea moving Czech Republic to Belgium, then on to UK, and then the way back Belgium to Czech Republic. We kind of cut it up in pieces. Um, First, starting really with the big chunk, which is the train. Looking what's the best point for us in Czech Republic. It could be Prague, could be Lovosice, could be south of Czech. For us, Lovosice was the point that made most sense, just because it's on the border. You avoid the traffic in Prague. It's a short distance. So there were a lot of good points from our Gradec facility to go there. We visited the facility. That was also an important one to just know what does it look like, who is working there, how do they work, ensuring that they have a full understanding of what we do. Um, and then also an important point there was just getting the product there. And in the end, we also selected a trusted partner. We felt that it would be good to work with somebody to that already knows how we work in our facility, that knows how can where do I have to go, who do I talk to if I'm in a traffic jam, all these details which seem basic but are really important to make it work. So we really chose our partners well in each point of the supply chain.
Yeah.
Um, and then, yeah, I think the trust was there.
Yeah, yeah, super. What was it? Was it actually, or what was the biggest challenge in the project? Because normally, when you talk to people, and you are, let's say, in a discussion about intermodality or multimodality, people usually are very hesitating, to go into the process of implementation because it seems to them really like mission impossible almost.
Yeah.
I know you said you had a goods on one side for export and a raw material from Antwerp for import, which is the ideal, of course, match for the intermodality or multimodality solution. But anyhow, you have to do the same process as you will don't have these kind of ingredients. How, if you would explain to those who are listening and are really thinking about multimodality, that is really mission impossible. There are of course challenges, but how was it actually from your point of view? Of course, you had to ask the partners and everything. You had to prepare a bidding for that, for example. So if that you can pick some things to really bear in mind when somebody decide or thinking
Mhm.
of this idea.
Yeah, I think first of all, um, there you have to keep in mind everybody that is involved in this process. First of all, the customer. I think in any project you do, you have to keep in mind that you need a good service level. So you need to make sure that they are calm, that we inform them in advance of what we're doing. Same reaction, a bit afraid, but you have to ensure that in the end that the process is operationally. And I think the same internally. I think a lot of challenges came also just from the internal processes. um, we now take an extra day or two to import our raw materials just because it goes to a terminal, goes back. This is something you need to explain why you're doing. And I think that works at both sides, customers and internal colleagues. Just make sure that everybody realizes what's happening. And apart from that barrier, I think you just need to make a good list of what is the risk, what is the impact. Do you maybe lose an extra day of lead time, or maybe even two? And how bad is that? We did a few trial projects where we in the end decided at this point not to go forward because there was a risk of, yeah, just not having the right service. That's okay. You can, if that's the final conclusion, that's fine, but do the homework. Just realize which risks are you taking, have a backup solution just in case, and you'll feel more relaxed. We have a whole list. I still have it here of backup scenarios. and most of them we never use it because we over protected the whole flow a bit. But I think it's better to spend an extra month on this kind of work and then just be confident. Then it's just about execution and follow up that it just works.
How did you actually secure that you never use this backup list? What was those steps you implemented? Higher inventory, or what is that?
Well, on the actual transportation side, we had two or even three, in fact, different routes that we could take in case that the rail connection just got broken. We have a possibility through Dresden, Germany. We have one through Austria, and then a different route, Prague, to a different side of Germany. But reality, none of these routes we used up to now.
Hmm. So
Um,
so so just in case you the let's say backup solution is another routings for your trains in case something happened on the infrastructure, right?
Yeah, well, that was what we defined as the main backup flow. In reality, what
Mhm.
we see today is if something happens, a train is announced with a delay of 20 hours, for example, and we have some product which is urgent, then what we do is we just take those one or two containers where we have some kind of risk and just transload it into a truck and just execute. So that's what we have now, and that's been working fine. In Germany, you see that there's a lot of work being executed on updating the infrastructure. That impact is definitely there. We had a few trains with an impact, but the general flow always kept going. And of course, safety stock is an important one also, but we have that anyway in our business implemented. You see a retailer, they want to work just in time, so we provide a safety stock for them in the warehouse in Zeebrugge, and also at our side we anyway have a flow of products, so that side was always covered, but it's definitely helpful to secure it, I think, in any side. Mhm.
So your trains actually goes from your plant, actually the terminal Lovosice to Zeebrugge, the warehouse of ECS, where the your products are sorted out for the next let's say distribution to the retail to UK, right? So you have still, let's say, kind of a bumper in terms of warehouse in Zeebrugge, which is consolidating the stock.
Yes, for the original flow, we have that buffer. That being said, and this year we also started direct routing into UK, which is basically the same flow from our factory to Lovosice to Zeebrugge, and then it's just cross-docking the container straight on the ferry and final delivery. So we now also felt confident.
From what destination is that?
We use a area of London and also more to more central UK is the second warehouse. So we have two warehouses that we now supply, and additionally this or 26 we will add another 10 locations all over UK. So actually for us, with what we did now, we are very confident to also supply our main UK or one of our main UK's customers directly, which will be volume for another train. About
Do you have another let's say solution like from Czechia to Zeebrugge? Do you have another solution in place already from the other factories or?
um, well, we use also Italy to Zeebrugge by train. It's a fairly new flow for us, mainly just also due to new contracts, but that's quite an established connection. So I think Italy, Belgium is very good. We also tried Spain to Zeebrugge, which which means that you go to. We are central Spain, close to Madrid in Segovia. regretfully don't have the best connection yet, Spain with Central Europe. So what we trialed there is to drive to the French border, then on the train to Lille, and then do the last 80 kilometers also by truck. It's a flow which we tried. It was possible, but at this point not the best because we found that there's still there's also a lot of infrastructure works planned in France, so we decided to delay. But I'm still
Okay.
hoping that we can connect the Spain with Zeebrugge because then we have our three factories connected by rail.
Okay. How did your customers and management actually your management react on that when you had successfully implemented this solution? How was the reaction?
Well, I was myself very glad to see everybody getting convinced more and more of the solution. I think internally everybody had a bit the same reaction, which was that, yeah, will this work? And also, what will our customers think if it fails? So there was a bit of negative view on it, but yeah, when it started, it never really stopped anymore. So internally, it was like, yeah, very, very happy faces. And also at the customer side, we get a lot of questions on it. Even today, both from the customers we supply through the train as customers that we do not supply at the moment by rail. But a lot of interest and good response. We won in UK a major retail prize for as supply chain initiative of the year. So that shows that that this means something. People are interested, ask questions, and it's really a good proof that this concept can work. So that's why we do see this response even today.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations for this success once again. Uh, Can you or what results can you already let's say share with us? If we are talking about decarbonization, like CO2 reduction, or trucks off road. And so on, cost efficiency, of course. What that brings to your company, because that's always interesting point for the others to hear. Okay, they always say it's always expensive, more expensive, this multimodal solution and so on. But I think personally, and I have some experience as well from that not everything is as people just expect, that it shouldn't be always more expensive. It always brings some benefits, huh?
Yeah, I think for us, we were aiming for more or less break even, and I think if we would consider all of the factors that it might even be a bit cheaper. We were in the past spending so much time on finding trucks. This alone already saves a lot of time and energy. And you also just see that um, you have all kinds of costs being added. If you just look at a truck needs a driver. There's less and less drivers. As an effect, you also see the salaries go up and the cost of a truck goes up. Then, secondly, we have more and more initiatives from the European Union. A big one on our flow was the German maut, which went up. So you just pay much more money to drive for the truck through Germany, and all of this just motivates you to go into intermodal, where a train has 44 containers and there's one driver. So that's already a very nice one. And if you count just over 100 euro per truck driving through Germany, times 44, then just on one route you already save a lot of money. So I think also financially there's a lot of benefit to be made. The main thing though is that you choose the right flows and not just do anything. It has to make sense. So you have to avoid that you have to go through 5 terminals, or that you have a lot of companies involved, the direct flows will always work best.
But that's the homework that everybody has to make. Otherwise, it doesn't work. But you said also one very interesting thing that people previously were spending a lot of time on the phone hunting for the tracks, ordering, administration, booking of the tracks, and so on. This has disappeared actually, or let's say you reduce this kind of how to say no attractive job, for from my point of view. How those people reacted on this change, because that might be for them also something, like a better future, or how to say, from the
Yeah,
social point of view.
um, a planner always wants things to work. There's nothing more hateful than just all the time spending your time on finding a solution for that one issue and then closing it and having to run through the next one. And any any forwarder, any trucking company, any shipper will tell you that a lot of time is spent on this, and the numbers are there. You will spend more and more time on this by definition, just because of all the shortages. So you need to think of other solutions. The classic model of just sending a mail to 10 companies and then picking the cheapest truck, that will not work anymore. You need to look at it a bit different. And really, yeah, I mean, we have 4,000 plus containers that we now ship through the rail and will increase. So that's 4,000 that you don't have to think too much about. You just know, okay, these are just solved. So that's if you need if you need to look all of that in trucks, even if you have contracts, it will never be smooth. So I think that's definitely an important one. You just want your team to focus on the issues and not on
Mm, mm.
every one truck
So
that
so you
goes.
have actually with that, you have, let's say, simultaneously implemented also the automatization, in this process, because it has a lot of auto, let's say, processes that repeats and repeats, and so you don't need to actually change it every day, on how the mood is. Are there tracks, are there no tracks, so that the principles are running quite, I guess, quite automatically, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We the only thing we inform of really is the container and our own shipment reference, and that's enough for everybody. And also for the warehouse, they know that they will have 8 containers going out and 8 coming in. So it's all very stable. Before, maybe you 1 week you have to ship 60 trucks, then 20, but now we just smoothen it out. If we do have a bit more, then we can always make the choice to keep it on the rail terminal a few days and then put it on the next train. So that's really a lot more smooth and comfortable. And indeed, automation, I think from our perspective, automation is one of the key points for logistics future. Still a lot to be won there. The whole transportation market and logistics by extension, it's still old fashioned. A lot of paperwork, a lot of manual work, calls, mails, follow up. Just a lot of time spent on not so much added value. So this kind of project, it's also a process improvement if you manage it well.
Yeah, that will be another podcast together. About automation. I guess it will fill some hour about it.
Yeah, we have many ideas and concepts that we're trialing. It's a huge concept.
Yeah, yeah. How big is actually the real impact on the decarbonization of the tracks of road? You have some measurements, I guess. So, how big is the impact of CO2 savings in this case, in this project?
Well, our team calculated as 3,000 ton of CO2. I think in our European concept, that's a 5% reduction with what we have now. So not so bad. On the other hand, it also says that we still have a lot to look at. But I think it's easy to be cynical, but I like to take it step by step, and you need to start with a certain base flow, and we intend to further expand it. But I mean, it's 4,000 trucks off the road. It's in kilometers, it's more than 4 million kilometers. So it's a lot of positive impact, in my opinion.
It's an enormous effort. Thanks for that to what you do for the sustainability. How big or how big? How let's say how is the approach in your company for the let's say sustainability in logistic?
Um, well, first of all, we need to. I mean, we always keep the operational part as a base load, because we want to avoid that we start something because it sounds nice and then it doesn't make sense and we have to stop it again. So I think that's at the core of our business. We have a lot of volume. We need to work efficiently, but we have a huge focus on sustainability in our company. We also have that um, yeah, each retailer in Europe is now working on this one, and we do it in our product setup in our R&D. We have people fully dedicated to looking at the material side, what's not working well, the packaging. We have done a huge work on paper packaging, on replacing plastic. So a lot of a lot of work is done in our company to improve what a diaper is, or an Inco femcare product. And we also need to do it in logistics. And from our perspective, it's just a general look at your footprint, not just in detail, but also just keeping it simple, which is also why we just work with in Europe with 3 factories, no more, and just kind of choose to go for simple concept and go from direct to the customer. We don't have 20 hubs in Europe where we keep shuttling and moving things around. We just want to go direct. It works best, it's fastest, and we also think that it's the best way to make to make improvements, and that includes then also your sustainability aspect, because you just want to have everything together tight. You want your warehouse close to your factory. You want it automated. You don't want to have a huge place where you overbuild. That's not what we want to do. We want to have it compact. We want to have everything together. We want to have those direct flows to the customers, and also from our suppliers. We want the same thing, keeping it all central and organized, and that's really an important one to work efficiently. And in my opinion, that also makes your process by definition more sustainable.
Yeah, right, right. You're right. Are you testing any other green logistic solution right now, or like routings, optimization, transport technologies?
Yeah, we spent a lot of energy on evaluating different fuel modes. So apart from train, the electric truck is also a major one. Also, still a road to go, but we also started our first customer deliveries last year, by e-truck, and it goes forth and back. It's one a day. It's a nice flow that we set up with a customer, who was also willing to adjust a bit the way of ordering to ensure that stability. That worked well. HVO is also one we are looking into. So we did a few test shipments, and the conclusion was it's the same as a standard truck. So we're also looking into the best routes now to start it up.
Really? So the conclusion was really equal to the standard track,
Yeah,
or
with an HVO truck, you just change the fuel to a biofuel, and we have not encountered anything different. So we had
Also
the same
price
time to
level?
reach a customer. Price level is a different thing. The price is still an important one, and yeah, that means also the long routes where it should be most interesting. There's still a very big cost impact. So um, plus the fact that not each European country is very well supplied yet with HVO.
Yeah.
But you see
Yeah.
that that's coming, and I think it's also a matter of having a critical mass.
Yeah.
That's
For
why
the
we're
short
still testing
distances.
it and seeing, okay, where does it make sense and where is it too early. But I think we will see ourselves also move more in that direction.
Mhm. Are you testing it for the long distance or shorter distances or
We've tried both, and we also tried different plans. And yeah, I think in the short distance, the e-truck seems the better solution. And in the longer distance, then I think HVO will probably be the winner.
what
Of course,
about
when you
what?
cannot do rail, if you can do
Yeah,
rail, I
yeah,
think it's
yeah.
always better than
Yes.
HVO, but it's a good alternative.
Yeah, yeah. What about autonomous trucks? Did you thought about it or?
I've thought a lot about it. I read a lot about it, but I will be curious to see how it will enter the market. It's like the holy grail, especially thinking about the fact that you have just a lack of people, which will, but we have to see, we have to wait for the technology. At this moment, it's not yet suited for our company. But for example, in the US, where we also have two factories, you see that there's really a big boost to this with whole areas testing both cars and trucks and many autonomous solutions. So, but for now, when we talk about anonymous or autonomous, we just focus on forklifts, AGVs, and that's where we're starting. And if our forklifts can be automated, then we can look at our trucks. But we will again have to follow technology and also the logical sense of things.
Yeah, that's also a big step to make autonomous at least your warehouse. I know ECS where you actually drop your buffer. They have fully autonomous warehouse. Indeed.
Yeah,
So
it's good to visit and to show our teams how they work. It's a bit the same thing. It creates a certain fear that it will not work or that everybody will lose their jobs. But the point is that you just have to focus on a few tasks, those you automate, and you will have always people doing the job. It's at least for us not the intention to 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 eliminate our forklift operators. We just look into a few specifics where it makes sense. And the same with ECS, they have a lot of people working for them despite the automation. And I think, as always, you just need the balance of something which repeats always. Okay, you can automate, and in logistics, you need that human insight to make the right choices, and that will always be there.
there was autonomous summit in Antwerp last week. Didn't you hear about it?
Yeah, I was unavailable, so I could not join. But if you have any insights, very interested in them.
Yeah, yeah. I will go for discussion with my colleagues because I wasn't there as well. But that was quite a very unique event for the first time. It was initial let's say summit that we organize within the partners. So I'm curious to talk about it with my colleagues. What's gonna be the next because that's something what has just started and yeah, impressive. It was impressive from my point of view when I saw the a lot of let's say posts and also pictures and insight from the people. So let's see what does it bring then.
Yeah, well, in our ports also here in Antwerp, we already have some very nice automated flows in the port. It's always impressive to see. So I think there's still some steps that can be taken. Curious what it will bring.
Yeah, exactly. From a business point, how does it the multimodal solution does it pay off immediately, or does it pay off, let's say, long term? I guess the second one, but I'm asking you directly.
We, I think for us, it really paid off from the start, which was a bit unexpected. But yeah, it created a lot of tranquility and stability in our flow from day one.
Hmm. Hmm. Good
I
to
have to
hear that.
say, it surprised everybody. Definitely myself, also the other people who do the daily operations. But we just avoided a lot of issues that we saw before. And apart from some of the points I already mentioned, a good example is also just the return flow, where we had return trucks. That truck goes to Zeebrugge and then goes to Antwerp to pick up the good, comes back. Then there's a small delay in the warehouse because yeah, they have another truck first to take, miss the slot in Antwerp, and then standing there for hours. This is gone. It's just completely eliminated, because what happens, we just pick up in Antwerp, and we drop the container either directly in Antwerp, or we drive to Zeebrugge and drop it in the terminal. These flows are now separated, and the effect of calls and time spent and people angry because they should load our truck first, that's all gone. It doesn't matter if he has to wait a bit. He just goes back. And drivers also prefer this, because you see that a driver, if he can choose, he wants to stay at home. And now you just have these small flows where they just drive between Zeebrugge and Antwerp, or just within Antwerp. And the same in the Czech side, where the driver is just going from Gradec to Lovosice and back. So it's an hour drive, and yeah, that's just very smooth.
Enormous impact on society, right? It's no doubt about it. I think it's so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And if you then think of the topic of traffic jams, which in Belgium we're definitely familiar with, but also Germany, Czech. Every time I'm in Prague, I take a slow way to Gradec, and
yeah,
then you realize that the fact that your truck is not standing somewhere in between, it does make a
yeah.
change. It does make a
Lucky,
difference.
lucky for those who has already this implemented solution.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, absolutely.
I always say, be the one who is already one step ahead, then to wait for the future when it comes and there are no capacities on the rail, for example. Even people are blaming the rail that there are no capacities now, but I always say who really is willing to do something about it, he always finds the capacities, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think there's many excuses always not to do it, but sometimes you just have to take the risk and see how it goes. We did it; it worked for us, and I think it's a general thing. You kind of have to forget about the reputation for a bit and just do a few trials.
And yeah, even you struggle for a while or whatever, then the bright future is waiting for the solution. I mean, for the company. In this case, if you don't really spoil it, of course, with something. But
Yeah, I
what is
think I
the
think that's
yeah,
an important one. I think it's also important for the rail operators themselves, that they really look at what's happening. And talking to other companies, also hear them often say that there's still a lot possible there, because there's a certain capacity defined, but technology is moving so fast. So what before was needed for an interval, or for a cross dock of terminal A to to B, this all goes much faster. And I think a rail operator also has to look at the process and at the footprint, and help to work more efficiently, as we all do. So I think there's still some steps to be taken there, but it's always a bit the same thing. You need a certain basic volume, and then you can grow from it. And I think also here talking about capacity, I'm sure there is a certain capacity limit, but with the rail frame that we have today, I think more can done, more trains, more volume. I think it's all possible if the right things are done and if there's a good basic flow.
Michael, what do you think? You said before that people has excuses to not, for example, implement these kind of solutions. What do you think? What is the biggest excuse you always hear, or not in your company probably, but in general, because you are also traveling around conferences and meeting people. So what do you think? What is the biggest excuse you always hear?
The biggest excuse is just, yeah, my product will arrive late. I think that's the main one I hear, and the second one is that rail rail companies are old and bureaucratic and inefficient. I think those are the main comments. The idea of having an efficient flow in that setup, it is for some hard to understand, but the world has been changing for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How geopolitical actually geopolitics, let's say, has an impact on your supply chain these days?
It's definitely there. Especially for our deliveries to US, we've seen some impact. We started our new factory there for baby products. We're speeding up a bit our process. So we definitely have some impact of the tariffs. On the other hand, also an opportunity for us. And apart from what's happening in US, I think geopolitics, you just notice that there's a bit of a lack of confidence in the market. A lot of industries go a bit slower, so that impacts everybody, impacts our suppliers. We even noticed that somehow it seems to impact a bit the volume of baby products being sold. Probably other things that play there, but um, some some of the things which were normal, used to be normal, are now more complicated. So it just adds an extra challenge on supply chain flows, I guess.
Hmm, hmm.
But we take it as it is, and make the best of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. What is your, let's say, what is your at the moment? What is the initiatives that you taking to let's say have a stable supply chain? What is the current initiative at the moment you are really, looking for
Mm.
or doing it?
Um, Yeah, I think we just maintain our strategic course and keep doing what we're best at, which is producing baby diapers, producing Inco, producing femcare, and we keep focusing also on logistics there to get our product to our customer. I think that will always be the main thing. You need to ensure you have the raw materials. You need to produce efficiently, get it well to the customer, and that's what we keep doing. So we just do it within the framework that's globally there, and just keep going. There's a lot of excuses to do a bad job or to panic, but I don't think we need to do it. I think we just need to stay firm and do what we do best. And in Europe in general, we have a lot of good assets, and I think we can rely on those. We have a good production network. We have good education. We have everything we need to be competitive. We just need to avoid that we become too bureaucratic. I think that's a main challenge, politically and logistically. And if we can keep that under control or do better, then I think there will always be a future for your company, and that's what we keep focused on.
That is something also to be more sustainable, to have a less bureaucratic, okay,
Absolutely, I
administration.
think in Belgium, in Europe, in Czech, I think everybody has stories of what can be better, and sometimes things are complicated too much, and extra burdens are created. So we really have to get rid of that, And also in the rail industry, it's the same. Why can the Czech driver not keep going to Belgium? I think this is a stupid hurdle. It just needs to be solved, and it's, I mean, maybe once upon a time that made sense, but those times are long gone. So I think personally speaking, then I think we just need to ensure in European Union that we keep unified, keep the processes simple, and not start working with obstacles. I think we just have to look at it uh, as one unity, and when we went to the Schengen agreement, we have all the trucks, all the trains flowing through European Union, and that's an example of what we should do for everything. We just have to choose the best and most efficient process.
Where do you see these projects? Let's say what you do at the moment, especially in this multimodality. Where do you see them in 3, 5 years from now?
Yeah, I think we will step by step keep looking at what the best way is to serve our customers, what the best way is to just keep the flow efficient. And I definitely know that we will grow further in the intermodal. As I said, we will add about 2,000 containers by rail next year, and I still see several options to do more. In the short term, there's always a bit, especially now, there's a bit of pressure on truck prices. It goes down, but you have to look a bit past this temporary effect. The numbers are all there, so I think we keep an eye on the market, we keep an eye on what we do, and we believe we will grow more. So if we did 4,000 last year, we will do a bit more this year with that first flow to UK, and then next year we should do more than 6,000 containers by rail. And I think we will do more. We have a few possible lanes defined. We will also need to ensure that the flow works. I mean, especially when you go direct to customer, you need to ensure that you keep following that process. So we have several customers that we've talked to where we had to decide the flow in general is not ready yet, but I expect a few years from now that those things will be different. And everybody sees what's happening and what's coming. So there will also be a certain pressure from society and from um, constraints such as the driver shortage that will also help to give that little push. But from our side, we are happy to pioneer a bit in this one, and we just hope that more companies will follow us because the higher the frequency, the more the flows gets the same, better lead times, and that just helps for everybody. So I definitely hope going forward that we will do even more
So
by rail,
so
by multimodal.
your trains actually when you work with partners like ECS, your trains are open for another companies to join and to make a stronger, even stronger supply chain for everybody, even more efficient because of the synergies coming together, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We want to make a difference with our products and in our logistics solutions. We will just be happy if more companies follow us because in the end, everybody will win from this.
Which logistics, let's say, innovations excite you the most? Because we have AI. We're living in a period where automation goes a lot, and these alternatives, energies, tracks, and so on. So, what excites you the most?
I think in terms of automation, that's a fantastic world, and AI is part of it. There's so much possible nowadays. Whether you talk about really the things that you see on the floor, cranes, automated forklifts, or just working on less admin and automation in your process, more automation in your transport process and communication, getting rid of those typical questions that you see recurring. I think that's definitely something where um, we as Drylock we'll put a lot of our money on. I think that works, and also on a personal level, it's quite exciting stuff to see coming. And then, of course, yeah, more broad, just any technological advancements. There's so much going on and being investigated. A lot of prototypes, which hopefully will come to market soon for us to enjoy.
What will be the advice to give the other listeners or companies considering multimodal from your side?
Yeah, I think the main thing is just look at your flows, realize what the impact is, and always keep in mind you want to work efficiently and you want to work for your customers. Keep those things in mind first, and then make a plan around it. So I think shouldn't do it just because it sounds nice or because you think somebody will like it. I think you should really look at your process. Think, okay, where is this possible? What can I do? What will be benefit? Is there any negative impact? And once you did that analysis, then take the next step. So don't blindly jump into it. Better spend 2 more months, 4 months on it. Just be prepared. If needed, do a trial, and then you will feel much more relaxed and better prepared. I think that's just it. Just prepare yourself well, as in any project, and the result will be so much better.
Great. My podcast is called Logical Sustainability. Uh, what comes to your mind when you hear logical sustainability? That's my last question today.
It's a very very good question. Well, again, I think you just need to make sure that sustainability actions go hand in hand with the core of your company. Um, if you set up a process which will last a long time, uh, then it will stay. And that's exactly what sustainability is. You want to have something for the long term. We want generations to follow to have it as well as us. So I think, yeah, just go for a sustainable project where you know that it will bring value and it will work.
Michael, thank you very much for today interview and talking to you was really exciting for me. It's my actually first time that I record the podcast online today via a podcast platform. Of course, it will be published later on. But thank you very much for your insights all the time for any questions I made. So thanks really for your experience sharing with us and sharing with the listeners. Thanks a lot.
We're always happy to share our story with anybody. Always happy to talk about it. It's been a journey for us. It's been a good one. So happy to talk about it. It's one of the projects I'm most proud of my 7 years here at Drylock.
Yeah, yeah. Super, super. And for everybody who is watching us and listening, listen us, follow us, and you can get more insights, in the future for the next episodes. Also from Michael, I think we are not seeing each other for the last time, so we might make another, planning for another podcast episode for example, automation we talked today, and it would be very interesting to watch your journey in sustainability as in Drylock, and I'm really looking forward to it. So thanks a lot again, and see you next time, Michael. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.